Man, y'all are not gonna believe this. Oh my lord. I just woke up from a nap, right? And then I went to Twitter and I saw the Asami person again show up on my feed. For those aren't aware, I made a video talking about a couple days ago, huge art drama involving this artist who essentially was using AI, and they more or less got away with it for a very long time until an artist by the name of, if I recall, Teru, um, released like a 40 plus page document which called out said artist and or quote unquote artist. Then following that, Asami later on, a couple days later, posted their version of a time lapse, or like a speed drawing of them that they did. They said they did in like 1 hour. And this was supposed to be like video proof of them. They had like a camera pointed at their iPad screen in their hand, and you could see them allegedly drawing, and they're not using any AI, and they did it all from scratch. And it's actually a lot crazier than you think. This one's probably the smartest one that I've seen in a hot minute, man. I'm actually thoroughly baffled by this, so I wanted to talk about this real quick. Also, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. So to give you a quick recap about the last video, this was from a user by the name of Teru who covered Asami arts, and they said it's tracing AI, and they had this whole document which I made over, which I went over in that entire video, which I'll put in the link in the description below. Fast forward to present day, and Asami ended up making a new post. I can't show you one of them because I think the art's just gonna get flagged by YouTube like it did last time. For those that are wondering about the whole that, YouTube is really kind of like finicky with that, so I have to be super careful. But essentially, before this post, they had another one which was supposed to be some more art from them, or quote unquote art, and they were saying, you know, all this talk about drama, this and everything, and that they're just going to ignore it and not talk about it. And then they eventually made a new post saying, this drama isn't about AI or art. It's someone trying to destroy me with lies. Someone who argues with me and acts like judge, prosecutor, and executioner. What you see in this picture is the way this person attacks me. This is who you're supporting. I don't have to prove myself to anyone, but you're supporting people like this. You're choosing what kind of person you are. You're doing a witch hunt, but I don't really enjoy tanning. While her own drawings don't even get 1K likes, her attacks get thousands of likes. Do you think this is about art? I think trying to bring in numbers to this is pointless in the grand scheme of things. I feel like you're the one that's trying to make it about numbers at the end of the day when it comes to something like this. Artists can be passionate about a subject and about a topic, even if their art doesn't get a lot of engagement or likes. I think that's an insane statement to make in general. Oh, well, they're clearly going after me because their own art doesn't get likes, and so this is clearly just a bitter and salty and going after me. I mean, what do they have to gain by it? And they're not going to gain much in the grand scheme of things of it. If someone's making a call-out post because they believe that you use AI, and they went through this whole to make a 40-page document of it, and a lot of it ends up looking to be pretty legitimately true, did all it boils down to is an artist caring about the craft and passion of the game, and they want to see that it's done fairly and not deceptively. And that's really all it matters to. Artists is not going to do this because they think that, oh, well, let me take all their fan base now, convert them. Furthest thing from that, dog. So scroll down, this is supposed to be them showcasing this artist having their email now being signed up for a bunch of random different things, which, mind you, is publicly available. You know, if you don't want people to do that, you should have an email separated just for that. Then don't be using Gmail for that, I guess. That actually, quick art alert, quick art fact for y'all. Set up a business email. Too many of y'all are too comfortable using personal accounts to conduct business with people. I don't understand it. It gets really messy, especially if something goes completely wrong. You need to have multiple emails, especially ones for business, where you can filter out things easily so that your personal ones do not get in this case, even though the chances of it happening are probably really unlikely, it's still a good life lesson to have, especially if you are going to be someone who accepts commissions and takes them from people. And so with them making this post, I ended up making my own post on top of that, which you should go follow me instead. Hey, wasabiato, hey, let's try to get this to 100 followers, you feel me? And so I said, you don't have to prove yourself to randoms, but you do have to prove yourself to paying clients who believe the work you give them is authentic. Try to pretend that the document that was made about you doesn't exist, isn't the own that you think it is, which is pretty much, I was more or less saying, hey, you can keep saying, I ain't going to participate in this noise, I ain't going to do none of that, who cares about it? But the thing is, when you have, again, a 40 plus page document that is pretty well attributed to a lot of attributes and has a lot of sources to back it up for the things that Teru is claiming, To ignore it is, in my opinion, a really poor taste, and you are not going to come out as a superstar that, that you think you are. People are going to wonder, why are you ignoring it? Because that is one of the few things that to really ignore that is really tough. But now we're getting to the real meat and potatoes of this situation. This is where things get really crazy. So we fast forward to this new post that Asami makes, and it says, long time ago, when I first opened my Etsy, my art really wasn't good. I even used the first cute picture I found online as my profile image. I didn't even know what AI was back then. And if you look at my old Etsy orders, you can clearly see I never delivered anything in that style anyway. I tried so many styles. I spent a long time experimenting, even copying the style of artists I admire, because I was learning and trying to get my own style. I played with 3D posing tools like everyone else, using MMD to understand poses. I tried backgrounds from places like Pinterest or Google because I wasn't good at them yet, like downloading backgrounds from Pinterest and drawing characters on them myself. Eventually, I realized none of that felt like me, and yes, I still don't know how to draw guns. I honestly don't care to. I can look up a reference, but to me, they all look the same, I just don't enjoy drawing them. I'm really mad that no one really caught on to this and really harped her more about this. That is the most blatant disregard. If a actual artist told me this and I saw this on their page and I was looking to commission someone, I would never commission you. The fact that there was a lot of people initially jumping on saying, oh man, thank you for providing this proof. Yeah, you know what? People are really out of pocket. That's crazy. That makes no sense. Brother, you put the muzzle on the back of a fucking gun. That is the most blatant disregard. Like, yes, I still don't know how to draw guns, and I honestly don't care to. I can look up a reference, but to me, they all look the same, so I just don't enjoy drawing them. Just say that you just trace the stuff and that you don't even care what you're drawing anymore. There's no thought, there's no logic put behind the things that you create. If you were willing to blatantly, openly say a statement that fucking stupid, you do not care about the actual artwork that you're producing. It is so insane that more people have not grilled this quote unquote artist for this absolute crazy statement. You do not say something like that, especially in a public environment. I would not have no faith in someone, especially for someone like Asami who calls himself the illustrator, if you're going to say something like this. There is no credible, actual, legitimate artist that is going to tell you something this stupid. It's not going to happen. And if they do tell you that, don't even commission them. That means they're the laziest POS as far as I'm concerned. At least be so baffling. But it makes more sense once we get a little bit further into this. And so they continue on by saying, now I found my own style, something that finally feels like home, and I draw with confidence. Yet some people will love acting like judges or lawyers online, looking for someone to tear down for attention. Sometimes it works on others, but I'm still here. And for the reason I've never talked about any of this before, it's simple. I needed time to see people's true faces. Some people chose to follow the crowd without thinking, and honestly, it cleared my space in the best way. I don't regret anything I've done. My responses were exactly what they needed to be. I'm still here. Before speaking, try thinking for a moment. That goes for everyone. Normally, this would make sense if this was someone who was actually reputable and credible, who was accused of something and the accusations were wrong. But in your case, this just makes you look even stupider, dog, in my personal opinion. So here's the time lapse that they provided. This was sped up, of course, but it's 7 minutes and 45 seconds long. And so I'll play you a little quick, like a super fast version of it while we talk for a moment. But pretty much this is supposed to be them showcasing the whole drawing process of how they actually went about drawing. And so people were like, oh wow, this is all right, this is like some definitive proof, this is where we're going. And you know, it was one of those things where people were like, okay, all right, maybe they are actually legit. And then some people were wondering like, okay, that's weird though. So if you are legit, you know, why would you even trace AI to begin with? Or some people just completely forgot about the fact that she was tracing AI or even anything of that caliber, because people were like, hey, does anyone remember Ross Draws? Anybody remember that situation and how that went on? Because yeah, like even if you do show that you could do this technically, even though there's already issues with that, which we're going to talk about in a moment, this ultimately doesn't really prove or show anything in the grand scheme of things. Because this is just you showing that you know how to use an iPad and you know how to use Procreate and that you can actually draw lines. That ultimately was what this was showing, but there's nothing else really that you could gather from this in the grand scheme of things. And so with this post, someone called it out and said, this doesn't really prove you haven't been using AI at all. You simply aren't using it here, which they actually are, but we'll get to that in a moment. It says, we all know you can draw, but proof, especially the gun error, shows that you resort to AI to make the process of drawing faster without informing anyone in your clients about that part. And so Asami said, are you okay? I made this drawing in just an hour and a half. Do you really think I need this? So it went from this is AI to of course you know how to draw, really a comedy show, or just people unable to handle it. Now, let's get to the really spicy stuff. The stuff that you're really wondering. What could an AI, quote unquote artist do in this current day and age? So it says green is completely missing from the color wheel at 116, but reappears later in the video. This points to the video being chroma keyed, which can be used to trace over a hidden green layer as demonstrated in the second link. This post refutes none of the AI accusations. Now, someone provided an example, and we're going to take a look at this together. So here is someone providing an example. This is green, and this is them showcasing them actually tracing over this, where you can't see it at all because the green is chroma keyed out. And so then you get the impression that they're actually working. It's legit, like they're actually sketching this out. They're doing it by hand, and there's no one that can actually tell anything. And as long as they don't show you that color wheel, you wouldn't know any other way, which is wild, right? It's actually crazy. This is probably the smartest AI user, and a lot of people might say that's a very low bar to clear, right? But realistically, dog, like, it's a pretty interesting technique. I mean, that's a masterclass move if I've ever seen one, dog. Like, it's so crazy to see all of this called out, dog. And someone even has it right here, so you can look in the screenshot, so you can see the green is missing from here. That's how people were getting to the point. You got green here on this part, but then here the green is somehow gone. So essentially, if you were to make a assumption, what happens is once they got to a certain point, then you can just turn it off, and then you don't need to be chroma keyed out anymore because now they're adding color. And if they were to use anything resemblance to the color, it might look sketchy. That's wild. It's almost I literally cannot believe the lengths this quote unquote artist would go to play to pretend as a real artist. It seems like the chroma keyed green color out during the sketch / line art phase, meaning that they likely had AI generated green screen sketch that they were tracing from. They only removed the chroma key during the color phase where you can see the green again in the sliders. Always funny to me, these self-proclaimed artists are afraid of honestly admitting that their art is AI generated because they know well that putting that label on makes their work essentially worthless. This also means that they wouldn't be able to justify their commission prices without being absolutely shat on. Really goes to show how art only truly has value when it's handmade by a human with the skills and artistic touch, which is, yeah, I agree with that. And this entire situation is just oh my lord, dog, this is such a insane situation. I couldn't help but give an update on this because this went in a whole direction that I didn't even think was literally possible, man. We're about to start even looking even closer to some of this stuff. If this is the lengths that some are starting to go to, who knows how many more steps and lengths that these AI bros are really going to go to with things in the future. But what I will say is if you do want to support an actual artist, you want to support something that's handcrafted, made by an actual artist himself, come to my T-Public store. Come to my little store. I got a bunch of stickers. I got a bunch of cool things. They got a little sale going on. All this stuff is on sale. Go check it out, dog. And guess what? They have all these other things too. You can buy a t-shirt. You can have socks, hoodies, and I'll be putting more designs on here over time as well too. So yeah, go support artists. Go check it out. Link in the description below.